top 2 productivity hacks for powerlifting coach that will change your life. Coming in at number 2, get yourself a fingerboard so you can do sick grinds on your keyboard while you're watching people's training videos. And then number 1 is set your freaking alarm clock and get your ass out of bed so you can get rolling, because holy shit, getting up at 3:30 today, I feel so much better than I did yesterday getting up at 6, because I just wasn't scrambling to get everything fucking done before coming into train. So we're rolling with the non-warm-up, warm-up strategy for the delt day, kind of mountain dogging her. The machine that I really like for the side raises is currently occupied. If Miana wasn't standing somewhere behind me, I'd tell you how I really feel about that machine, but she would probably get jealous. But I am pleasantly surprised by how nice this thing is as well. And I think it's just like all of this max pump stuff here. Like the build doesn't look like as pretty as some other equipment, but the feel is just like wild, because all the strength curves are just disgusting on whatever it is you want to train, and I am dying. So we'll shut this one down and go up a little bit. And the whole doing work before the actual work thing, like, I'm not really doing this for the sake of pre-fatigue as much, because I'm not really pre-fatiguing, considering that my main goal for today is front delts and triceps. But if I can get in and crank the sides right now, like, I definitely need side delts to get larger, not necessarily to support my lifting, but just so I don't have tiny little pathetic side delts anymore. But running these first lets me put some good effort into the most leggy group, warms up the shoulders so that when I get into the overhead, they're good to go. And I don't find that this gets in the way of the overhead, so totally fine digging into the pump to get rolling. Plus, it's more fun just to get into actual work right when I walk into the gym, rather than, you know, trying to do lame little warm-up stuff. So I'm going to stop talking and finish this one out. And to be clear, this is not part of the non-warm-up warm-up. Miana just ran over to get me to give her a lift off for his photo press. So I'm really hoping she does a good enough job of catching her on the bottom that I can use it as a good example. Let's go. Big pull. 5.
Yep.
Settle. Good. Look at that catch. If your Spoto stop isn't that tight, you're doing them wrong.
Yep.
Thank you for being a good demonstration.
Anytime.
So yeah, if you're running Spoto presses, your goal needs to be locking her up as hard as you can in the bottom, trying to catch the bar with your upper back, because that is where the magic happens on Spotos. And to complete the non-warm-up warm-up, that is kind of work, but work that won't interfere with my overhead stuff, got the spud strap out to crank on some face pulls. Am I in frame? I think I'm in frame. But going for that big let go in the bottom, big thoracic flexion, pulling everything down and back into that thoracic extension, getting that head back, and that is how I'm gonna make sure that I'm still okay at setting my upper back on squats when it comes time to set my upper back on squats. We'll probably need to go up though. What I want you to notice here too is that I'm not just like yanking it out of the bottom. I'm going for a slow pull, making sure I'm tagging the stuff that I want to work, and not just flinging her to the top with momentum. We'll go up again. And goal here with going up is to maintain the same quality that we had, even though it's a little bit heavier. More accurately, a little bit heavier, so quality is going to be a struggle, but we're going to do our best to keep her strict so that we're touching the stuff that we want to touch. And the easiest way to get an intermediate lifter to make better progress is to have them do the right accessories with the right effort and the right intent. What I do with the team is I watch all of your lifts so I can see what's going on and figure out why you're stuck. Might be a technique thing, might be a weak point, might be that something is jacked up, but it doesn't matter because we will figure it out. And right now, we got a free trial going on with the team, so hit the link below and sign up, and you'll be able to get coaching from me for a week for free. And if you don't like it, you can cancel at no risk to you. Body weight is almost too light to crank in heavy face pulls right now, which, considering the goals, I guess that's kind of a good problem to have. And I was walking over to the overhead press machine, but the temptation of this guy was too hard to fight now that it's open, so we're going to crank out a couple sets. Not going to hurt me, and delts need to grow, so we're going to grow them one way or another. And I think one of the bigger problems I see with powerlifters running accessory work is that they're always in like powerlifter mode trying to move as much weight as they can. But the thing is with little isolation stuff like that, if you're just flinging the sucker around, you're not actually putting tension in the muscle that you want to put tension in. So even if it is heavy, even if it is pushing hard, do your best to keep that shit strict and then contract as hard as you can. Because if you can do that, might be harder on that little ego of yours, but it's gonna both feel better and work better, and I like feeling good, and I like when training works good, so keeping her nice and strict, but still working really hard. And you actually find that like by keeping it strict, you can actually like work harder in the thing that you're trying to work. So yeah, productivity overload. But then once you're productive and strict, then we stack load on. I freaking love that machine. And for the main event here today, I was going to continue being a pansy using the selectorized machine, but Miana and Darrell are on this sucker, and they say that it feels pretty darn okay, so let's see if they're full of shit. And Darrell was running... Are you going to go up from plate and a quarter?
Huh?
Are you going to go up from plate and a quarter?
What, are we doing 10s or 12s?
And I guess Darrell is planning 2 for his work set, so we'll see. That is actually, yeah,
like
very hard. But I think we can go up pretty safely. Yep. Yep. There you go. And judging by that, we might be in moderate trouble, so we'll dig in.
Good. Fire out. Come on.
I'm gonna lie to myself and say that the inside handles are harder, so we'll go.
I think they might be.
We'll go outside. Well, it's like the plates have more leverage on my hands here than they would here, so let's see.
Good. Good job. Keep going. Yep.
I think like handle review, definitely like the machine has more leverage on you here, but this is also way more front delt, so I'm probably gonna keep hands here and then go down a little bit next set. Even though I don't love it, I'm getting more and more psychologically okay with being beaten by Darrell in pressing exercises, which is only possible because I got faith in future Seth that he's gonna be able to get his shit together when he has more than 175 grams of carbs on a training day. To my personal relief, Darrell also dropped her down to try the narrow handle, so We'll find out how weak I actually am here shortly. Okay, let's go. Really hope the mic picked up the audio of Darrell saying this was harder, so made me feel slightly better about myself. How many did you get?
8.
8? Okay.
Let's go.
Easy. Good. 8, keep going.
Yeah.
Up. Yes.
Finish. There you go. Whew.
See? I don't know what I was going to say. I thought I had something to say, but I didn't have something to say. Very glad I wasn't a pansy today because this machine is nice. We may have to use it again. And now that the delt smashing is done with, we're hopping on this guy for the primary reason that I'm annoyed with how bad I was at it on the first day. So we're going to try to get better at it. And the secondary reason is that if I'm bad at it, getting better at it is probably going to be good for me. We got to go up first, though. Up to plate and a quarter per side. So plan for this one is if it feels good, we'll shut it down so we can go up. If it feels less good, we'll just make this a work set and crank. I think that means that we're just going to do another work set here. And after that, gonna do my best to wake up here and make it suck less. Boo. 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 A little bit of mental preparedness goes at least a little ways, I guess. Still not warranting going up though, because that was much sadder than I would have liked. But I mean, 175 grams carbs, so I got to be at least okay with it. Tyler's here and he's going to run this next. So I tried to talk him into like just going one single plate on one side, not one per side. So we'll see how this goes. Narrow. Okay, fine. Tough guy. Making me look bad for the vlog, but this is probably pretty promising for his bench in September, so I'm okay with it. Why am I so bad at this machine? It's like every exercise that I find stupidly hard, some way he figures out how to make it look easy, and it just is utterly infuriating. And if you guys are a regular viewer of the vlog, you'll have noticed that I changed the order around a little bit because I'm running dips later in the session than I normally would. And the reasoning for that is that dips have been feeling pretty good, pretty easy as of late. But the thing is that with the pec, with the shoulders, I'm not entirely sure that I want to push these with loading quite yet. But if I run the tricep stuff early in the session, triceps are going to be a little bit more fatigued in the dip, which is probably less good for the sake of training triceps on these, but it is definitely making the old pecky pecs have to work a little bit harder right now, so mission accomplished. As I almost die on that last rep. Holy. And this is something I talk about almost every time I run dips, but dips are one of my absolute favorite things to do for shoulder health, which is kind of counterintuitive because everyone wants to say that dips are shit for your shoulders. But the thing is that if you do have shit shoulders and you can build your shoulders up to the point where they can handle dips, your shoulders are going to be a hell of a lot better off than they used to be. And if you're starting from ground zero, step one is going to be running a push-up with some sort of setup kind of like this, where your hands are elevated, but you have the option to drop into more stretch. And if something like this feels too gnarly, you can always rig up a reverse band or put a slingshot on so you can control the bottom end position. But the goal is to get really good at doing push-ups here. Then you can drop your hands lower, make it a little bit harder. And eventually, as I trip getting on the dip machine, if you get good enough at running push-ups, you'll be able to progress towards an assisted dip and then gradually remove assistance, and then you'll be able to just run dips, and they'll be one of the most fun things you can do, because if there's an exercise that you're previously afraid of doing because of pain and you get the point where you can do it, they become so freaking fun to dig into. See how much fun that looks? And to continue roasting the pecs, we're going to hop on to the world's heaviest pec deck, 5 kilos up from last week, so hopefully we don't die. But it's like, if you want to be strong, you gotta work to progress on the accessories that you need to work to progress on. And I guess in my case, if I want to hold on to strength, I gotta make sure that I'm not slacking on the accessories that I need to not be slacking on. This thing is so ridiculously heavy. Also, midway through, I realized that was a 15 kilo jump, not a 5 kilo jump, so I'm not surprised how terrible that felt, but it felt good enough that I think we'll roll with it for the next set. Because what doesn't rip my pecs off will make my pecs stronger, right? Feels actually a lot better set too. Probably should have done a feeler set before getting into her in hindsight, but we're here. Never mind, we're dying. I cannot believe how gnarly this thing is. Like, every time I do it, I still act surprised, but it's always surprising how much shittier it feels than I wanted to. To clarify, shitty in a good way, because like it feels spectacular, but extremely humbling at the same time. And now for what is quickly becoming my favorite part of the week, because it is time to buckle up, kids, because we're running the pullover machine. A little bit more aggressively loaded than last week, so hopefully we don't die, but felt good last week, so I think we should be okay. And I had someone asking in my AMA whether or not I think one of these is worth running for a powerlifter. And although I don't know yet because I am so far away from being in shape for a meet, my suspicion based on the combined serratus and lat feels is that this thing will absolutely remain a staple into my next meet prep because it feels so good. And based on how it feels afterwards too, I think it's doing good things for me. We're dying. That is all we got. I gonna hop in. Gonna make the same weight look way too easy again. If he just bangs this out like it's nothing, I'm gonna be so sad. I also feel less bad about Tyler keeping up to me right now, considering we pretty much are the same body weight. Go a little lower. Oh, what an asshole. What an asshole. Man, oh man.
I do like these.
Yeah, I don't know what my excuse is at this point. I guess we just gotta try harder or something. And when I posted the Instagram reel on these talking about the tension profile compared to a straight arm pull down, had a dude in the comments talking about how a straight arm pull down isn't lacking tension at the top. And it's like, motherfucker, get a brain, first off. Second off, you've clearly never tried a good pullover machine because the amount of tension here and like the line of pull, like it is pulling me straight backwards against the arm So the leverage is just freaking insane. And because the line of pull is directly in line with the arm the whole way through, it's just gnarly through the entire range of motion, which is why I am such a big fan of this guy.
Come on, squeeze it out. There you go.
And we died. And like, if we're thinking about leverages on a straight arm pull down, when my arm is up here on a straight arm pull down, the cable's kind of going like that way, right? And when we're worried about the moment arm being placed around a rotating axis, we're worried about the force that is being applied perpendicular to the lever. So if the cable is up that way, it doesn't have a ton of really good leverage in the top end position compared to when we're lower and it's more perpendicular. But this guy, because the line of drive is just perpendicular to the humerus the whole freaking way, it is just gnarly. And I know I've been heavy on the oblique stuff train, but still can't forget that rectus abdominis needs to do some work, so we're running sit-ups again. And this is such a nice setup, being able to hook my feet on the plate stands and then just have the bar as easy access for loading. Might even try to go overhead, make the levers a little grosser instead of putting weight on it. This isn't quite overhead, more like forehead loading, but it works because I got significantly harder. And we are just dying at this point, but I mean, it's fun. And what I'm curious about here is when Darrell was running these, he took the plates off of these suckers so he could put his feet further out. So gonna see if that gives me better or worse feel. I think like position wise, it'll probably be pretty similar, but we're about to find out. Yeah, no real change. Also, just sticking with it at the neck, just so I can do a little bit better reps and not have to swing out of the bottom quite as hard. I do miss band loading on these, so I think next time I run them, I'll probably not be lazy and grab a band. Because it really does let up tension-wise at the top, whereas if I had a band, similar to the pullover machine, would have more tension the whole way through. Either way, though, still does roast the abs and hip flexors, so I'm okay with it. And going off of what I was saying at the end of the Tuesday vlog, I definitely was not looking forward to the impending food drop that started today. But the thing is that, yes, it does feel bad, but it doesn't feel that bad. And I think a lot of it not feeling that bad has to do with how I'm framing it, because I know that in order to get where I need to be, like, I need to feel hungry. And if I can think that, like, hey, feeling hungry means that it's working, it can kind of make feeling hungry be pretty darn exciting feeling. It can make it a whole lot easier to dig into. And whether it's diet, whether it's training, like, so much of it is going to be mental and how we are thinking about what we are doing. Because if you're thinking yourself into a session being terrible just because you're hungry or just because you're tired, you're gonna have a hard time making that session be good. And if you're thinking that feeling bad during a session is the end of the world, you're gonna have a hard time making that session be productive. And I always say this in the vlogs, but making training as productive as possible, no matter how you feel, needs to be your number one goal. Because if you're making training productive, no matter how you feel, like even when you feel like shit and stuff isn't moving, it's still going to move you forward in the big picture. And if you are not letting training be productive because you feel bad or because you're freaking out or because of this, that, or the other, like, not only are you gonna have less fun during that session, but that session ain't gonna help you get better. And the goal with training, with powerlifting, isn't to just have like one really good session and then you're done. The goal needs to be to have as many productive sessions in a row, because having that productive of a session over and over and over again is what's gonna let those really good sessions happen. Like, you don't get good sessions just because they're good. You get good sessions because you did the right amount of work over and over and over again, regardless of how you feel. And I think that is probably what I've got for today. So special bonus for the people who watched the end of the vlog. This new drop is going to be coming out here shortly. The exact release date is a secret, but what I will say is that if you sign up below, to get notified about when the drop is going to release. You are also going to get a early access passcode to be able to purchase it before it happens. And when the drop actually happens, it's only going to be open to the public for like 2 days. So you definitely don't want to miss out on this one because it is going to be very, very exclusive. But if you hit that link below, you'll be able to get early access plus a discount code. And if you join the team, you're going to get a bigger discount code plus even earlier access. So definitely think about that because right now we got the free trial in the team, which again, like I always say that if everyone knew how good the team would be, I would have to close it down for new joints because it would just be so good that everyone would be in it. So I think the best way to get people excited about being in it is just to get people in there to try it, to see what it's about, because once you see what it's about, you're going to be like, holy shit, this is freaking insane for what we're paying for it. So join the team. It is sick. I'm only pumping it because I believe in it so freaking much, and I really do want to use it to change how powerlifting coaching is done. And I think if I can get enough lifters in here, that's how we're going to make the change in how powerlifting coaching is done. So on that note, we're actually done. So peace out. Have a good night. I'm going to go get my ass on the stair mill.